All right, it is 7 p.m., Monday, September 18th, 2017. Regular council meeting for the city of Woodland, Washington. If I can get everyone to silence your cell phones and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was tough for me tonight.
All right. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Heffernan?
Present.
Councilmember McCall?
Here.
Councilmember Chapman?
Here.
Councilmember Humbert?
Here.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Here.
Councilmember Jacobs?
Here.
All right, all are present and accounted for. We have no presentations or proclamations this evening, and I failed to grab the paper.
Oh, you got it, Matt? Colors your shirt.
It's far away, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
But it's not this color.
Black is pink.
Hey, if you're going for the light sky blue, or yellow.
Wear yellow? If I wear yellow, it'll come in blue.
Yes.
All right, moving on to communication for items not on the agenda. I have no one signed up. If you fail to do so, now's your opportunity to step forward and speak. All right, moving on to items on the agenda. I have no one signed up. If you failed to do so, now's your opportunity to step forward to speak. All right. Chair will accept a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve with the exception of consent item D being moved and created as action item G.
Second.
All right. Agenda approval, motion by Councilmember McCall to pull consent item D and create action item G with that item, seconded by Councilmember Heffernan. Will the clerk please take the vote? Why can't I get it together tonight? Did I miss something? I don't think I did.
Hold on 1 minute, sorry.
You're doing good.
Okay, thank you very much. That just threw me for a wrench there for a second.
You're doing great.
Sorry. Okay.
In my yellow shirt.
Councilmember Heffernan?
Aye.
Councilmember McCall?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Humbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Aye.
Councilmember Jacobs?
Aye.
All right, moving on to reports of city officers. I'll go first. So we had the employee and the volunteer, volunteer of the year, Darlene Johnson. We had before the last council meeting, we had a reception. But the following day, we had our employee of the year and celebration here in council chambers, where we announced that Miss Janice Fisher was the employee of the year for the city of Woodland. After a handful of nominations that came through, she rose to the top. We had a wonderful lunch, gave out a lot of longevity awards as well, so that we had a great time. And then also here, and I'm going to let Mr. Karnofsky speak to this on the wastewater treatment plant lab accreditation that came through late last week from Mr. Ambergy. He has some good news.
Yeah, so we received our lab accreditation, and there's 6 different tests that we can now do in our lab. The Washington State Department of Ecology allows us to do that, and the big advantage, besides the department recognizing the efficiency of our lab, is that it saves us $22,776 because we don't have to send those out for outside testing. So good job by Derek and Bob at the wastewater treatment facility.
Absolutely.
Is that annually or
Yeah.
monthly? Just checking.
Yep.
Mr. Fredericks.
Just to verify, that's money we used to not spend, but now, because we used to not spend it.
Oh, we used to have to spend it because you have to run those tests on a regular basis. And without an accreditation from the Department of Ecology, we had to send them to an outside laboratory. And now we don't have to, so that's.
I believe at one time, though, we had them done inside, and we lost that accreditation,
Yeah,
and now we're
then-
getting it back. I
yeah.
just want to
Yeah.
make sure it's not a, oh, look, you know, there's a
No, we gained back what we lost.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what I was excited about, so.
That's good.
No,
Thank you.
very excited about the hard work and everything that's been going on over at the wastewater treatment plant. Very exciting about that. Also, I've got a new contact over at, I went to dinner last week, and I have a new contact over at the railroad, so I've got a face. So, have somebody that we can get a hold of anytime we have issues with the railroad, and their first order of business is going to be the crossings. And I haven't had a chance to visit with Mr. Karnofsky yet, but we'll be visiting on Wednesday about that. The poor crossings at West Scott and on Davidson. And then also there's another crossing outside of town off Whalen, but we'll include that as well in my email. I'm asking them to come out and take a look at those. We've had a number of complaints on the condition of those crossings across the actual railroad itself. So
Scott's the worst.
very exciting that we finally have someone that we can actually get a hold of now instead of just throwing it to the wind. So, yes?
Can you ask them about materials on their property so that WAC doesn't have to pay to remove them?
Okay, absolutely. I'll throw that out. I saw that there was a large pile of stuff that was sitting there.
I
and
think it's
so-
technically their property.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it'd be really great if
Okay.
maybe they could take that over.
Absolutely. Okay. Mr. Boyce?
Okay, just a few things to report. October 24th, the AWC regional meeting is happening in Vancouver. Contact Clerk Tripp. Okay. Upcoming community events on September 23rd, the Guild Cloudy Community Orchard Celebration is happening at 1620 Guild Road at 6 p.m. October 10th, Pacific Corp Public Open House, Lewis River during high runoff conditions, 6 to 8 p.m. at council chambers. Okay, and October 28th, Make a Difference Day.
I'm assuming that Dennis is working diligently to schedule everyone, and Jody as well.
Yeah, Dennis, Jody, and Kathy's also
Okay.
working the process. And
Good.
They had 4 meetings already.
Good, good. All right, awesome. I did drive by for those of you that haven't had an opportunity to drive by the community orchard, the sign's done. It looks wonderful. Everything's cleaned up. They have benches in. So if you're unable to make it on Saturday evening, please try to carve out some time and drive by it and take a look at it. The Boy Scouts did an amazing job out there.
The Boy Scouts have done an amazing job, and if you could come just to support them, even
Yeah.
if you don't stay very long, it would mean a lot to them. It's 3 Eagle Scouts. This is what they were doing to get their scout.
Yeah.
So they've done an awesome job.
Yes, very excited about that. Ms. McCall?
And the other thing that I would also stress is always every year, I live by the river, and all of my neighbors are always asking me in the February through April of why can't we get more information about what's happening with the dam. And I would just stress and recommend that everyone let their neighbors know of this event in October, because this is prior to when the river starts to rise and everyone has all the questions, but their questions can be answered, and they can talk directly to PacifiCorp about all of the issues with how the dam leaves water. They give you magnets with emergency information, how to sign up for automatic updates, and there's all kinds of information available there.
Mrs. Hefner?
I had the opportunity to participate in a webinar today that AWC put on regarding marijuana recreational home grows. And so I wanted to share a little bit of what I learned about what's going on there. The legislature commissioned a study for the Liquor and Cannabis Control Board to do, that is due by end of this year, to look at whether we should, as a state, allow recreational marijuana home grows. We are one of the 8 states that allow marijuana, that does not allow the recreational home grows. The other 7 states do. We just do the medical. So they're looking at whether we should, and if we should, how we should. So there's 3 options that they're looking at. One is, and it would be a maximum of 4 plants per household, not individual, just household. The second option is where there is local control, which would also still have the 4-plant maximum, but it would allow local jurisdictions to be in control of enforcing the regulations, and they could be more strict. And the third option is status quo, where we don't allow it at all. They're wanting citizen and municipality input on how they should proceed. And so there's a public hearing in Olympia on October 4th. There's also a 4-question questionnaire that I was provided that our city could fill out and give to them, which is due by October 11th. So I don't know
Okay.
how much you knew about this
I
what's
didn't know
going
this
on.
was happening.
I
I
didn't
did
know
not.
either, but I do now.
Okay.
So I can provide the slides to
That would
you
be-
and that 4-question questionnaire. I don't know if we as a council wanted to go over that together as a workshop.
I would like to do that.
Yes, please.
And I'm not sure how we
It's due
would-
on the 11th.
The public hearing is the 4th, but they're giving till the 11th for municipalities to
Okay.
return the questionnaire. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like October 2nd would be our, is that correct? Did I get that right? October 2nd?
Does the city have to turn in one that's from all of us, or can we each turn one in as a separate council member?
There was no restrictions on how you could do it. I think they just want as much input as possible.
Okay.
So, we could do it as a council together, we could do it individually. There was also a little, non-binding poll of the participants of the webinar today. There were 31 participants, and only, I think they said 86% of participants voted which option they would like. 24% voted the option 1, which was the state, the tightly controlled state option. 20% voted number 2, which was the local controlled, and 56% voted number 3. So that doesn't really tell you much. It's just, you know.
Out of
just
31
today.
people.
But there's definitely a range of opinion.
Okay, yeah, if you want to forward that on to me, we'll take care of it.
Does the rest of council also want
Please.
that? All right.
I'm seeing nodding, so yes. Maybe forward that on to, and then we'll set up a workshop for the 2nd.
Just a reminder, we can't respond and discuss, but we can send information, so.
Yes, I'll just send the slides so that you can have a chance to look them over before our workshop.
That would be great.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Questions for Mr. Boyce? Questions for myself? Mrs. Heffernan?
I had a question for, I guess, either you or Mr. Boyce. Can you update us on the status of what's going on in the community planning department?
Yeah, Mr. Boyce, yes, so I don't misspeak.
Okay, so Amanda Smiller, our Community Development Director, is no longer employed with the city. We have contracted with HHPR to provide an interim planner 3 days a week. We are looking to fill the position full-time and are pursuing that at this time.
Go ahead.
Will we be having an executive session to discuss why that change happened? Or?
We discussed that internally, and we didn't think that it was necessary, I guess, and we were moving forward. Go
It was
ahead.
determined it was a no-cause termination.
So I guess we.
So then
Okay,
can
I'll
I
be quiet.
ask, if it was no cause termination, can I ask about then just globally what was going on in the department that caused the changes? Not specific to any person, but just the department itself?
Well, it was, the person works at the pleasure of the mayor, and the mayor has made that determination to make a change.
Okay, so it's not a restructuring of the department, it was a,
That make it, well,
Well, right
it
now
may
we
came
are-
later, but, yeah.
Right. Right now, we are analyzing the processes and procedures in the department. We have access to a professional planner who we are tapping into his knowledge to look at what positive changes we can make in the department to make it run more smoothly.
All right.
Ms. McCall?
My only question, concern is that we have contracted with someone from HHPR to do our engineering, and then contracting with someone from HHPR that's doing our planning as well. I'm a little uncomfortable with that. I'll just go ahead and put that on the table. But we're working on replacing the position, so we'll work through it.
Okay.
Just wanted to make that statement.
Noted. All right, Chair will accept a motion to approve the consent items, A, B, and C.
Move to approve?
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Humberg, seconded by Councilmember Jacobs. Will the clerk please take the vote?
Councilmember Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember McCall?
Aye.
Councilmember Heffernan,
Aye.
Councilmember Jacobs?
Aye.
All right, moving on to action item E, authorize mayor to sign employment agreement for Public Works Director and confirmation of Teresa Coleman.
Move to approve?
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Humberg, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Humberg.
I sat in on the, what's the word I'm trying to say? The interview, thank you. And she has a lot of energy, she had a lot of positive things to say. I think she will bring a lot of good stuff to our city.
Councilmember Chapman?
I agree, yeah. I didn't participate in the interviews, but the resumes that brought forward in our little session we had, she's very well qualified and very energetic. I met her once, and I think she'd be a very welcome addition to the city.
Further discussion? Ms. McCall?
I'll just say this again. I say this every time this happens, and it seems to happen almost every time. I really like seeing our city attorneys approved us to form signature on the piece that's in the packet, so that I don't have to ask, has the attorney seen it? Because now I have to ask, has the attorney seen
Yes.
the contract and approved it?
Yes.
And it'd be great if that was already done and sealed before the packet got sent to us. But thank you.
Further discussion? All right, will the clerk please take the vote on action item E?
Councilmember Jacobs?
Aye.
Councilmember McCall?
Aye.
Councilmember Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Heffernan,
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Aye.
All right, moving on to action item F, amend ordinance number 1269 to temporarily expand the Horseshoe Lake Park exception to the no alcohol policy and to allow beer gardens / wine tastings in other public places, sunsetting on October 13th, 2017, first and final reading.
Move to approve?
Second?
Moved by Councilmember Humberg, seconded by Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Humberg.
I know that this is for the sip and stroll, and I think that this is a fabulous thing to bring people downtown, open the bid. I am so excited. We have to say yes to this.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Same question that Councilmember McCall raised. I'm assuming that this ordinance has been reviewed by the city attorney?
Yeah, I drafted the changes.
I figured, okay, just checking. And then, for the ordinance, I'll have questions on D.
Okay.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Councilmember McCall.
I'm excited that this is going to happen, and we've had several events where we wind up doing this every year that we're having the event. And I'm just wondering if we need to be looking at this through the Planning Commission and making some kind of determination that this is what we're going to do and allow all the time, because I think this is expensive to have this go through an ordinance change every year, every time we're going to do this. And it opens up the discussion that maybe it might not pass. And these are great events. They bring out a lot of people. They bring people into the community. And it just seems to add an administrative level of time and effort and cost that is unnecessary. So I'd like to take a look at doing this as, I don't know if there's some sort of a restriction of why we are having to do this every year, but it seems like if we don't have to do this every year and we can open this up that during this time period, this is what's allowed, this many events are allowed, and we just take a look at it and approve it and be done. That way it also is a little bit more friendly to the groups that want to come down and do this. They don't have to be waiting to see and coming to the meeting to go, okay, wait a minute, is one of the rogue counselors going to start talking about this and run it down? So let's open this up and make sure that it happens every year and get it cleared up. That'd be
Uh-huh.
awesome.
So can we add that to our workshop
Or
next
just-
time, so we can just talk about it shortly?
Do you,
Hot and alcohol.
what's that?
Hot and alcohol workshop.
You want them both? Okay, we can do that, and then you can decide where to send it to. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Further discussion? Mrs. Heffernan?
I have a question. It was brought to me by a citizen, and since I didn't have the answer, I thought I'd ask it here. It's a legal question. What, if any, liability does the city hold for a beer garden where a participant leaves and may be involved in an accident or a DUI or some other alcohol-related event?
No, it's the same as the liability we'd have if someone like left a tavern and went driving. So there really is no city liability for something like this, even though that it's a permit that's given. Because the permit has, and if it's approved tonight, has certain provisions in it which the event coordinator is supposed to follow. So those sort of security things are kind of taken care of. Cities are separate from those.
So this isn't a city event, then it's still upon the business serving the alcohol?
Yes.
Okay.
They're also
Yeah,
providing-
the business chamber is providing insurance
Right.
policy as well.
Okay, thank you.
It's a multi-group event. I would consider it a multi-group event.
All right.
All right, will the clerk please take the vote on action item F to amend ordinance 1269 temporarily?
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Frederick?
Aye.
Councilmember McCall?
Aye.
Councilmember Heffernan?
Aye.
Councilmember Jacobs?
Aye.
Councilmember Hubbard?
Aye.
All right, moving on to action item G, authorize special event, street closure, and beer garden sip and stroll downtown Woodland on Thursday, October 12th, 2017, from 5 to 9 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember McCall, second by Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember McCall.
I think we discussed this when we were talking about the ordinance. I think this will bring people downtown. It gives publicity to the restaurants that are down there, and I think it's going to be a great event. Looking forward to it.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Just the obvious question, this has been reviewed by the chief of police and the fire department?
Yes.
Thank you.
Further discussion? All right, will the clerk please take the vote on action item G, authorize a special event for downtown Woodland on Thursday, October 12th.
Councilmember Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilmember Frederick?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Heffernan?
Aye.
Councilmember Jacobs?
Aye.
Councilmember McCall?
Aye.
All right, Chair will accept a motion to adjourn.
So
Move to
moved.
adjourn?
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Is that a record?
7:23.
Who says government isn't efficient?
Oh!
I know, right, that was,
Wow!
You know what?
I just want to know if we all hold the record now for that. Was that a record meeting? No? Dang it.